Now, of course, if failure wasn't a risk, what exactly would you guys be doing?
Hmm. Let me think about that for a sec. If there was no risk, I would probably eat an entire large pizza by myself. Uh, Sadly, I don't have the appetite that I once had in my teens. Okay, in all serious, I don't really know. I don't really like to frame my life in terms of what I think I might fail at, if that makes any sense. You don't win anything unless you try, so I like to think of myself as being successful in whatever I set my mind to, not the other way around. And if what I do doesn't turn out the way I expect, then I just view it as a learning experience, not a failure.
Point taken.
Yeah.
Can't really make any progress in life without making a few risks.
It's true. You gotta be okay with taking risks and sticking your neck out and just really trying.
Hey, risk versus rewards.
Well, it depends on how high of a risk and how high the reward is. Now, what would be the most challenging quest you've actually took on?
I don't know if there is one that's the hardest request or the most challenging request I've ever taken on. We get a lot of requests for things like full body fursuits, a lot of really intricate, elaborate fur designs, and a lot of the time we have to just say, sorry, we can't do that. We do custom tails and ears to some extent, and we get a pretty high order volume just with that alone. So for now, at least, we can't move into doing full suits, though we do get a lot of requests for that. We get a lot of requests for extra large tails, like to go onto a fursuit. I've been wanting to get into doing full suits for a long time, and I think that is something that we'll eventually get into. It's just, like you said, one step at a time, and we have a huge demand just for tails and ears right now, so, I mean, we're doing everything we can just to keep up with that.
Yeah, that's actually the reason why fursuiters themselves, they have to go ahead and close down requests because of the overwhelming numbers that they get for fursuits.
Oh yeah, and especially like during Halloween season, we are incredibly overwhelmed already just with tails and ears. I mean, to think about adding some... I mean, that's one of the reasons why we actually had to drop the hoodies we used to do, is they were very time-consuming. They were actually very costly for us, and I was never really pleased with them to begin with. It was just kind of something we were trying out, but we ended up dropping it because the demand with tails and ears alone was so high. It was more worth it for us to just stick with that and do that well.
Yeah,
I think it shows.
Yeah, speaking of which, AnthroWear is pretty much ran by the two of you. How exactly do you two handle peak sales?
Yeah, things get a little dicey around here during the holidays, that's for sure. The truth is, we get through it any way we can. In past years, I have had to work 18-hour shifts, 24-hour shifts. I've had to go weeks without taking a day off before. I mean, things get pretty insane during the holiday season, but we always successfully ship thousands of tails on time, and everybody's happy. We actually get surprisingly few returns during the whole Halloween season. We only maybe get 2 or 3 items returned out of hundreds or thousands sometimes. So that's a great sign.
That's a good sign of great business right there.
So in the past, it's been insane like that, 18-hour, 24-hour shifts. But up until about last year, right before the Halloween season last year, we actually just hired a new girl named Elise as my manufacturing assistant, and she has been an incredible help. Last year, we were able to get through the bulk of the Halloween season without having to work any days over 8 or 12 hours. I was actually able to take a Saturday off once in a while. It was nice, kind of the way things should be when a business is operating smoothly. So, yeah, I mean, having her around has been an enormous help. We've had her here for the past about 8 months or so, and I've been training her in all areas of the manufacturing. And we actually just recently moved into a bigger workshop too, so now we are really well set up this year with highly trained staff. We have a great workshop set up. We have all our materials ready to go. We're set up better than ever to handle a huge order volume for this Halloween. So I'm really excited to see what happens this year.
Nice.
Challenge accepted.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see how this will go.
Hey, as long as it's not having been like last time, I'm sure Stripes and Gnome will be happy.
Oh yeah.
When we first started, actually, we were sharing a small apartment with my mother when we had first moved to Oregon from California, and I just got a part-time job as a cashier at a grocery store, and we were sharing this tiny apartment with my mom. And,
Wow.
And I was trying to start AnthroWear out of that, and that was interesting, just finding the space for everything, and yeah, it was not easy.
Well, then again, I mean, if you look back to past great successful businesses, some of your businesses did actually come from a garage or so. Yeah, if you look at it, Steve Jobs happens to, start at Apple from his garage. Several others, in their own homes.
Yeah. That's the spirit of the American small business, I believe. I mean, it's just finding something you're talented at and going for it. Even if you have to, start a shop in the corner of your dining room in your house, just doing what you can within your means and putting yourself out there. That's the American way. That's what's going to help create small businesses in our community, and it's what we want.
Yeah, I can imagine one of our viewers was probably already playing that theme song from Team America World Police movie. I won't give it a second thought of that.
Yeah, that already struck me of what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you guys get along with your family, then.
Oh, yeah. We definitely get along with my family for the most part. I mean, it's just Mom here who lives in Central Oregon with us. The rest of my family is down in California. We don't get to visit as often as I would like, but we always make it a point to drive down every year or so.
That's really good, I must say. I really like it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have the family get involved with the fandom.
Oh yeah, Mom is totally involved. She's all about AnthroWear. Like, she is always asking me for a new keychain or like, what set of ears can I wear to this event? She always picks out her own tail and everything for Halloween, and it's fun. She just loves to get involved. She's really excited by where AnthroWear's gone, and I mean, it's a big deal for her too because it started in her apartment. I mean, we shared this tiny little place together, and she was there to help. She was there for moral support, and she gave me ideas, and I owe her a lot. Really, she's been a huge support.
Now, exactly how long does it usually take for you to make a custom merchandise?
I guess that would depend on the item. Just generally speaking, custom tail orders that we take, we can usually whip something out in less than 2 business weeks if it's like entirely custom. It also depends on our backlog of orders. Like, if it's Halloween season and it's insanely busy, you're better off ordering early so that we have a little more time to get through all of our orders.
Well, speaking of that, what, when it comes to the Halloween stuff, what do you recommend to an average listener to start pre-ordering the tails?
When would I recommend they pre-order for Halloween?
Yes.
The sooner the better, really, is all I can say. If you want to have it for like weeks ahead of time to go to Halloween parties and just play around with before Halloween, I definitely recommend ordering as soon as possible, like August, September, whatever it takes. But that's not to say that if you order at the beginning of October, you're not going to get your item. We make it a point to ship every single item on time and deliver it before Halloween. It's just we do advise you to order as early as possible. So, I mean, partly so that we're not extremely overwhelmed. A lot of times we'll end up with an order log that's just 50 items long that I have to get through before the end of the week, and it's just insane. So, yeah, just as early as possible. I would recommend really just before the 1st of October is best. That gives us plenty of time, and you'll definitely get your item well ahead of time.
In the past, you guys have actually used Bitcoins as an acceptable method of payment.
Oh, that controversy.
It's true. It happened. Yeah, Bitcoin was something we were just kind of trying out to see what was going on with that. There was a lot of hype around it at the time.
I can remember that, so...
We had actually people request or ask if they could buy stuff with Bitcoin, so we were like, well, maybe there's people asking about it. We might as well give it a shot. So at the time, surprisingly, it did sell a few tails. We ended up selling maybe 1 or 2 items a month via Bitcoin, which wasn't very much at all, but it was something. And it was more than I expected, honestly.